Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. I go by the name of Kaution, Mr. 700. We are now reporting live from Thugs Mansion, aka All Over Media Studios. I'm here with my brother Bryson Boom Paul. How you doing today, my brother?
Ain't no place I'd rather be.
Man,
Hey.
And this ain't your normal shit. Me and Bryson been talking about doing something for a while. Scheduling is always tough when you're dealing with people like Bryson and myself. So it's like, you know, if somebody hits me and says, "Hey, bro, let's push it off until." I'm not gonna argue with you because I was probably trying to force it in anyway.
Do it anyway.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to you, my brother. How you been?
I'm great. Getting into it. You know, still working, still doing journalism, still
Factual, succeeding and thriving,
still reporting, man. Still doing these trials. So that's what we here to talk about today. So
facts, and let people know who you brought to the podcast today to speak with us.
All right, man. Y'all might have seen her before. Obviously, you know, if you've been to court or something, you've probably seen her before. But we got the one and only Thelma Anderson. I mean, if you guys don't know, y'all might call her Judge Anderson. A couple of y'all might have been in front of her as a presiding judge. So, you know, but she's a judge. She's a former judge, or not a former, but she is an attorney at law. I don't know whichever one she's doing right now. She said business law, right?
Yes, I'm business law.
But she has done prosecution. She has done the defense. She's done it all, man. She's locked a couple of y'all up, and she's also let a couple of y'all go with just a warning. So we gonna talk about it. But how you know, let them know about yourself.
Well, first and foremost, thank y'all for inviting me to be on your platform. And thank you for the introduction. Just to give a little background, yes, I am a former prosecutor with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. I was there for about almost 6 years. After that, I went into private practice. I went into business law because I am a serial entrepreneur. I have so many business ventures. I specialize in business law now. And during that time, I became a municipal court judge in Fort Worth, where when it's time to see if an officer has probable cause to search or seize or arrest, I had to review it. So I was that was a very important role, especially as a Black woman in a predominantly red county. So I really enjoyed it, but I enjoy business law even more now. So that's a little bit about myself. For the most part, we're gonna get into it.
No, that's a fact. You did answer. No, for real. No, you did answer a question that I was going to ask. Is like, you know, being in that field predominantly, you know, where we are in our current climate. What are some of the things that you've seen that kind of shaped who you are and made you want to do all the things that you do now? So
I am a project baby. Grew up, born and raised in the projects. I seen everything from drive-by shootings to drugs to prostitution to domestic assault to murders happening in the projects. But that shaped me. I really think it allowed me to have more of a street sense. And the one thing that people don't pay attention to when you become a prosecutor is you have to look at defendants from the standpoint of where they come from to understand how they got there. So I appreciate my humble beginnings because it allowed me to have a different outlook opposed to a lot of my colleagues that grew up in, you know, middle class, high class neighborhoods that never had to struggle for anything. So they didn't understand why individuals did the things that they did, or did they care to go and search for a reason. So I appreciate coming from the project.
Your perspective is different. You know what I'm saying?
Very different.
You deal with things differently because the outlook isn't in a negative or a defensive outlook. Like I'm looking at the people that look and talk and think like me. So no, that's dope.
But coming from Fort Worth, where I'm sure you've you've tried a rapper a few times. Huh?
So I wouldn't say. Well, I was a prosecutor in Dallas.
Yeah, okay, but have you ever? I mean,
have I ever?
Judge, have you ever prosecuted a musician? Have you ever had to sit or preside over a case? I
mean, they was fake rappers. They was not real. Like they had their YouTubes. You know, everybody wanted to be a rap. Like they were not really rappers. Right, like they had their little YouTube with their little fake videos, but for the most part, I have not tried a rapper that is a mainstream rapper, like the Young Thugs, like the Dirks and the Tory Lanez. No, which of course I know some of the questions are going to be about the lyrics, Facts. Because it's a very new lane to try to prosecute out of. So, how's
that process? Like, is it depending on where the situation happened, that's who the judge presiding over that area?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the county, the city, county, municipal. Sometimes they bring in special judges, and just if there is a special reason why.
Gotcha. Is there ever a time where they remove somebody from a case because they feel like they may be biased, or or because of their background that they may not hold a fair trial type of deal?
I mean, there can be people can be removed from cases based off of conflicts. Gotcha. So if a conflict arises, let's say somebody knows somebody, you're supposed to let the court know, like, or your supervisor know, like, hey, I know this person. That way you can be removed because that conflict can create a constitutional violation.
Gotcha.
Pretty much what happened in the Young Thug trial when they had to pick after the first judge was removed, they had the second judge come up, and she was like, "Yo, it's a conflict of interest." So I got
she ain't want to be on there. She just, she ain't want the headache.
Right. She said, it's a different set of circumstances. Yeah, like you dealing with things that's not the normal environment because of the magnitude of it, of course. But I do think that that's an interesting thing. I think that would be like one of the few that I would want to sit in on, or some of these rapper trials, because then you get to see like the real person. Like this ain't about whoever. Like this is about you. So no, that's interesting though. That's definitely interesting. So just to get into it, I mean, honestly, because of where we are and what's going on and everything, currently right now, especially that's going on in Dallas and the whole, and I hate to say Mo 3, but the Mo 3 and Yella Beezy situation. What's your take on that from your perspective? Like looking at everything that's going on and like his bail getting reduced, and like, what's your take on that? How do you feel about this going into it?
First and foremost, it's very political. This is a political move, and a lot of people don't understand the politics that goes on in the DA's office, or when you are a sitting judge and you got individuals that donate to your campaign, and you got to please certain constituents in order to make sure that you make good on your promise to deliver.
Right.
So every term there is, if you look at every term, I would say for the last 12 years, before this particular district attorney got into office, he's been there going on 8 years. The previous district attorney had two of the biggest cases. You had Amber Geiger and you had Jordan Edwards.
Right.
So those are national trial, like the national news was here covering those trials. And we had Dr. Death. If you're not familiar with Dr. Death, this was the spine doctor who was intentionally paralyzing patients. So that's 3 in one administration.
In one county.
So now you have this district attorney that has not had a big fish.
Right.
And we know that this case happened in 2020. I was at the DA's office in 2020. We knew that there was a possibility that people automatically thought Yella had something to do with it because of the beef that they had. We are in 2025. The DA's office never take that long to indict someone.
Right.
You have to look at the why now.
5 years.
we have a federal case with Kaution and we have a state case. The way the feds and the state work, because I've worked with feds on cases, where they have come to take some of my cases because their case had greater weight. And we never argue if the feds gonna come, good, take it off my docket. Here you go.
Here you go.
But there's never really an occasion where the feds are going to come and take a gun case when you have a capital murder.
All right, but how does that? Okay, so explain how one case is a state case and one case is a federal case. How are they not? If it was allegedly a similar or the same crime, how is it that one is lower than the other, and why aren't both of them just boiled into one federal or state case?
They could have been. So there's a strategy behind all of this. So normally, he would have been charged with a UPF. On the state level,
Yella,
Kaution.
Oh, Kaution.
Because he's a convicted felon in possession of a firearm.
Right.
And you can't do that. And there is a waiting period as well. So you are in possession of a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. You're automatically going to come through the state, because what the feds are going to do, they're going to be referred the case, and they're going to be like, okay, am I going to take it or not? Usually, sometimes they take it, but not all the time, because they like, this is the first time he's been picked up. Right. Go ahead and let him get it on the state level.
Depending on the severity of the crime
depending on the severity. But I promise you, there were meetings that happened because it's the gang case. They're in the gang unit because both of them are rival gang members, and they have stated as such. Right. So when you identify yourself as a gang member, you automatically go into the gang database with the Dallas Police Department.
So who would you say was or just to clarify, who are the rival? You saying who are the rival gang members? Like, so not saying what gang they are, but who is the two that you mentioned?
Mo3 and Yella Beezy. Allegedly. I ain't seen no gang paperwork. Right. So it's allegedly until it's not.
Right.
But I know they are in the gang division because Tommy Adams, the prosecutor who's prosecuting the case, is over the gang unit. And he only comes down to prosecute these kind of cases if it's in the gang unit.
Gotcha.
So what the feds did and the state, they got together and it was like, you know what? We can make this a grand thing. We gonna let you take Kaution and sit him over there. And when we're ready, we're gonna announce this capital murder case against Yella Beezy. But we're gonna do it strategically during the re-election season. And this is re-election season for the district attorney in Dallas County. So he's about to announce that he's rerunning for a third time. So how better to announce it after, and then they have one more person that they are going to announce that's bigger than Yella Beezy.
But being that I was actually in the courtroom for the bond hearing, I saw the district attorney, and he obviously appeared and stayed for the whole hearing, or for most of it anyway. But I want to ask you, being that you are somebody who has been around them and has worked for the district attorneys before, how often do they show up to cases? So obviously his appearance was for that would add to your political aspect. Okay,
gotta be visible.
Right. So okay, but even you being a former judge, I want to ask you, when a case like this happens, or a case of high profile happens, is there a pecking order? Is this only assigned to who? Can somebody be like, yo, I'll take this case? Like, are y'all in the back like, hey, I'll take the case?
It is a pecking order.
Because, I mean, me looking at the docket, it's like I thought it was a different judge going to be on there. And then I get there and it's a whole different judge that takes the case.
Yeah.
Or it gets bounced around. Like, originally his was in court, or criminal court 3. And then they moved into court 7.
Yeah.
And then we get there, it's not the same judge that is on the docket. It's a different judge that shows up and
why is that? So on the judge side, there is a will, and the will is like they determine which court is going to get what murder based off of a rotation. So Court 7, even though it started in CDC 3, Court 7 was up on the will to receive this kind of case. Gotcha. So that's how it bounced around. And the presiding judge who was in the courtroom was probably just a visiting judge, because the actual judge in their court may have had something scheduled, because this bond hearing is considered so last minute and it can happen at any time. She has another obligation. Gotcha. As far as the DA's office, that's also how it works as well. They look for the more experience for the more high profile cases. And normally the district attorney or the first assistant customarily would come down and try a high profile case. It has happened under every administration but this one.
Gotcha.
One, the first assistant does not have the trial experience, has never tried a criminal case. So why would you put someone that don't know the federal rules of evidence on a case like this?
Right.
Also, the district attorney, he too lazy to come down and try a case. This ain't his thing. So,
nor should he have to, right? Because he
needs to.
Oh, okay. I'm saying based on how it works, it's like a district attorney is pretty much like
it's a
supervisor, and you would think
it's
like
the
you
supervisor,
got a team
but
of
you are
people
supposed to show that you are not so above everybody else that you can't come and roll your sleeves up and get to work.
Right.
This district attorney, don't count on it. And I can tell you the level of experienced prosecutors to try these kind of cases, it has gone down in that office. So Tommy Adams, being that this is considered a gang case, he would be the best suited for this kind of case. But I can tell you that if they're going to try to use lyrics, it's going to be very complicated for this particular office, because I doubt that they would be able to effectively put the pieces together for a jury to follow as to trying to convict somebody off of lyrics. Right. It's not easy. You can't. It takes a lot. They don't have the manpower. They don't have, in my opinion, the experience to put that before a Dallas County jury.
I don't see a lot of those cases, or a lot of those that are brought up as far as lyrics in these cases. That doesn't really stand a lot.
Because it's very constitutional based.
Freedom of speech is pretty much being had. But I did ask his attorney after the hearing if they were prepared for lyrics to be used in the trial, when they eventually go to trial, and he was like, yeah, if the state wants to use rap lyrics or anything, we're going to be fully prepared for it. Now, when they did the hearing, they obviously made his career pretty much a display or a showcase of him and his accomplishments and him being able to afford to make a bail of this large size. Yeah. But they were sitting there like idolized, like he has 2 platinum selling albums or 2, being that they don't know the difference. They like, man, all I see is the eye. They probably just read somebody say like he got whatever, but like he does have platinum songs, and it's like, okay, you
just go to Wikipedia,
right?
They ain't done no real research. Go to Wikipedia.
They don't know.
No, they said as long as we saw platinum, he got it.
Yeah, he's one of those.
Like they did a quick Google search, and that was it. And that's one of the problems that this office has, is they don't have individuals that can relate
Gotcha.
To the individuals that they are trying to prosecute.
Back to what we
said earlier. Does come off as vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that they were reading, it was very vanilla. It had no flavor to it because the substance of it, you can tell that they were just reading a script.
Right.
They wasn't invested, but they knew, oh, this is a big superstar, so let us go with. No, what the judge wants to know, is this person a flight risk?
Right.
Them being a platinum selling artist does not make them a flight risk.
Right.
Do you have any history? Do you have any criminal history that shows that this person has a tendency for me to be concerned?
About him
just having money alone does not make you a flight risk.
Right.
Your behavior, your past incidents, they did not provide any of that.
Gotcha.
That's why that bail was so unreasonable, because this individual does not have a track record of them being able to say he's a violent individual, he's done all these things in the past. But what you can see is, yes, he's a successful black man in Dallas County. Yes, he sold millions of records. Yes, he's made all this money. Yes, he has given back to the community. But of course, they had to put that vanilla on it because they don't understand.
Right.
Now, you've been a prosecutor, I'm sure a defense attorney, and a judge, right? All right, so have you done defense before?
Hell no.
All right, so even just a prosecutor and a judge. Okay, what were you, from those two perspectives, I got to ask you, what did you, all right, tell me your insight from those two perspectives when you heard about Yella Beezy getting arrested. Like when you heard that, obviously it's a Thursday afternoon, everybody just, going doing about that.
Everybody.
Next you know, it's just a full-blown alert. Like, hey, he is being arrested for murder for hire. But I want to ask you, tell me from a prosecutor standpoint and a judge standpoint. Like, I'm asking for a judge standpoint because like I asked before, like, okay, so y'all in the back, like, y'all get the docket, they say, oh, this is on there. Okay. I think I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take this case or whatnot. So yeah, tell me from a prosecutor standpoint and the judge standpoint when you see something like this.
From a prosecutor standpoint, I was disappointed. Not in the fact that this has made national news. I don't think they have enough. And to see another black man that has to prove innocence when they're already convicting him.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I don't agree with the media spectacle that they put around it. Because, like I said, they knew what they were doing. It'll be different if out of the thin blue sky, Key1 just came and said on a March 2nd, something around that time like, hey, I'm ready to talk. But it was the intent and the withholding that I have a problem with. If you knew back in 2020 and 2021, you should have indicted then.
Right.
So that's the problem I have, because that's not seeking justice. That's seeking an agenda and a motive.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's calculating, and that's not what their oath says, and that's not what the law says.
Right.
That's why I had a problem on both a former prosecutor and a judge, because it's some unethicalness that's going on, and it's an assassination of another black man.
Facts. Yeah, I think in that time span is crazy to me. Like 5 years to have all the information that you have, and then you look at like the the internet lawyers who put shit together on their own and the TikTok,
man, the blogs.
Yeah, man. If you can paint the picture, because I feel like most people kind of had a feeling of what they thought happened. So if you had an inkling of this, that's a big fucking deal. Capital murder isn't something you sit on for 5 years. Like,
it's not.
And so that's why I was interested to know, like, what evidence could y'all have? Like, is is Keywan
he was questioned before, and they did. I mean,
so is he telling?
No, actually, you know what's funny is a lot of people think that he is the state witness, and the state never said that.
That's why I was so perplexed.
They never said like first of all, why are they gonna say on a bond hearing like, hey, we got the shooter in the back? He the one said
he in the back right there. He the
one said he gonna snitch on you right now. Facts. That's not what they said. Done. But everybody, I don't even know how everybody ran with just it's the shooter that snitched. Like, I mean, just based on him getting arrested, I guess it could say that, but like
with the gun,
right? So they were like, okay, so it's the shooter that snitched 5 years later, but the state never said that. The state said, we have somebody who is willing to testify that they were privy to a conversation that they said involved Yella Beezy, and saying he ordered for Keywan White to murder Mo 3 or something like that. Like they saying that's what the state is saying. Like we have somebody who is willing to come testify saying that they that he gave a cash withdrawal, or not a cash withdrawal. He gave $40,000 in cash to the person for the hit or whatever. But the internet ran with it and said, it was the shooter that said it, when that was never the case. Like that's never been what the state said. They just said like we have somebody who is willing to testify, and then they always say that, but never turn around and say that his defense literally hopped up after that and was like, okay, you guys have one witness, we have multiple witnesses. So the state sat there and was like, yes, we only have one witness and we have no information to give y'all that.
So he's not in jail for the shooting of Mo 3 right now, is he? That's not what he's locked up for, is it?
He's in for the gun.
For the gun, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But make no mistake.
For being a felon with a gun.
Yeah.
But you got the other person, Maurice Brown.
Yeah.
So who is Maurice Brown?
He was the shooter. He was the person also there.
So there was a driver, then there was the person that got out and that was shooting. At this moment, according to Mr. Keywan, who doing interviews from the feds.
Facts. I seen one the other day with him on the phone talking to
They said that was not him. He don't got no tattoo. That is not his height. I'm like, first of all, shut up.
Right, for real.
Second of all, how you doing interviews from the feds? I don't know.
He said, how you get a phone?
But even more so, the one thing that was very crucial to me that they said was Yella Beezy wasn't the only one that paid.
Yeah, I did hear that.
Which led me to believe that they have an even bigger person that they are withholding, and they're being strategic about the rollout.
The kingpin. But you saying that the case is already on shaky ground anyway because they don't have enough evidence.
Right. I don't believe they have enough evidence because, one, in a capital murder case, a one witness, there's a thing called we use is the one witness rule. You never put all your fucking your eggs in one basket off of one witness.
Yeah.
That is suicide by trial. You're asking to play in a jury's face. Right. And you're asking that jury to rely on this one witness when you got so many issues to overcome.
Right.
One of the biggest issues, all the bodies that Mo 3 got attached to him. This is not a victim that has a reputation for peacefulness. So guess what is going to be on display?
Yeah. They're going to pick him apart.
Everybody that is attached to this beef.
But what's to say that the states doesn't say like, well, Mo 3's not the one on trial here.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. His character is a part of the trial.
Yeah.
Because as soon as somebody get up there, aka Rainwater, Because he's going to have to get up there because he was on the phone with Mo3.
But they haven't released a discovery that says who they gonna question at all. So
they don't have to, but I know he is a part of because he's a part of the offense report because he was on the phone with Mo3.
Right.
So he is a key witness. He is going to have to be called. His information is going to have to be provided to defense, who is going to get to question him. The issue is he's going to have to get on that call, and guess what they can use against him? All the interviews that he has ever done, talking about Mo3 and all the bodies that he has attached to him.
Talking too much.
Knowing the beef between him and Yella, knowing that Mo3 made a song about attempting to kill Yella. So all of that comes open. When you are evaluating your cases, you have to evaluate it as if you are putting it before a jury today, and what do you think a jury would do? That's why I said this is a political move. It is too many red flags and not enough information to really honk in and say Yella, without a shadow of a doubt, did this.
Why would a DA take a case like this to use as a trophy for their re-election at the time, or for whatever for even just a highlight, just even if it wasn't election time, just to use this case? Why is a DA picking this particular case to use to catapult themselves?
Let me go to the dynamic of this district attorney's office. Before this DA, who is a black man, former Republican that turned to a Democrat because he knew Dallas County would easily elect him as a black man, not knowing that he still had those Republican values embedded in him. Before he got elected, that office had a good balance of diversity. That office now has no diversity. Us,
I bet.
Them, the people who he's trying to attract more, the white base, that is the why behind, one, this is the trophy case because it's a successful black man. So I would leave it open for interpretation for you to decide what type of black man do we have in that office. Is it a black man that see us, or is it a black man that see them who don't see us?
Yeah, that ain't a tough question to answer. That's paint your own picture with that one, especially considering the factors in it, the time span, like we said, the individuals involved, the timing of them announcing is just the merit behind it. It all just seems very weird to me. It damn near comes off. I mean, with all the cases of this magnitude that you think about with artists and shit like that, it's probably one of the more, like, now that I'm hearing all of this, because I'm like, well, damn, I thought they had like recordings of the conversations and they got like 2 or 3 niggas that's gonna testify. One of them like, I thought it was something strong, but now that I'm hearing, and then the 2 cases aren't connected, if his ain't connected to this one, I'm just kind of like, man, if he in the feds doing interviews, he doesn't seem too worried. On one of the interviews, he told nigga, yeah, I'm in here, writing raps and planning my release, I'm drawing my jewelry up. Like, that's the conversation he was having. I'm just like, this nigga don't seem worried at all. So either, I don't know what he got going on, or what the 2 things have correlation. I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it.
Speaking to that, even going back to the bond hearing, it was Judge Gracie Lewis was sitting here when she gave Yella Beezy his bond reduction. She also took time to criticize his approach to the hearing and just everything as far as from the paperwork to how he was looking at the day of the hearing, and then going back to what we said about Keywan White, and just sitting here, he on doing interviews, writing raps, and talking about like real nonchalant, which is what the judge told Yella Beezy, like you have a real nonchalant appearance, like you really don't take this into severity. I want to ask you, just being a former judge, why is it that, what is it about this that makes people feel like the justice system is something to take lightly?
You know, I disagree with her approach on that. I think that was unnecessary. It was uncalled for, because we are in a time now, nobody keeps numbers and information up here anymore. Right. Guess what is at? All in your fucking phone. Everybody is so attached to digital. I guarantee you, if she was to ever go behind those doors and they asked her to, she probably would know it because she's so old school. But these individuals now, if you don't have that memorized, then you are going to fill out information incorrectly. Right. If you have never, you can tell Yella Beezy hasn't been in this type of situation to where he has had to fill out information without having access
to something, or having somebody to do it for him.
Exactly. So she didn't take that into consideration, and that pissed me off. Another thing that pissed me off with her is allowing his mother's phone number to be announced on live broadcasting.
Wait, what? It was live? Or no, yes. Was it announced live?
It was live.
I mean, obviously, I'm in there.
Why
so
did
I was
they announce her phone number though?
So they did it where they asked her. No, it wasn't. It was his
the
mother.
Prosecutor.
It was he asked grandmother. He asked the grandmother, like, what's Yella Beezy's mom's phone number? And she at first didn't want to say it. Right. And he was like, well, it's gonna be on everything anyway, so you might as well just say it. And so she said it. She said the number, but I thought like it was live. Yeah, I thought the judge said we were going to make sure.
Why would they do that though?
It was live. And here's the thing.
Yeah,
she knew that was improper.
Oh my God.
And then to try to put it on the defense when they said something, it was like, well, it's out there now. No, it shouldn't have never been out there.
Hell no. Yeah.
So while you're trying to criticize him for not filling out documents correctly, we need to criticize you because now his mother's phone is in the public with all the ops that can have access to her phone, access to her location, literally get her information. You just put his mother in danger. And you want to talk about somebody not filling out a piece of form correctly. And this is my problem with judges and prosecutors when they get these big cases. They want to put on a show because nobody has seen or heard from them. Nobody really cares about who you are because you are there to do a job behind the scenes. But now the cameras are here. Let me put on a show.
Let me assert my dominance.
As you being a judge, would you say you've done that also?
Absolutely not, because I take people's lives more serious. Right. This is not a game. This is not the opportunity for me to get any shine off of your unfortunate situation. This is not a teaching moment either. If it was a teaching moment, I can call you to the back as a judge. I have the opportunity to talk to you off the record.
Right.
I don't have to do that in front of anyone to chastise you. That is not my job. My job is to be fair and impartial.
Right.
And not play in front of the cameras because the cameras are there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So a personal assessment of an individual like that during that period is not something that's typical.
I wouldn't say it's not. However, they were looking for a moment.
Right. Yeah. And based on the circumstances, like you said, how do you ridicule one person for not doing something and then you turn around and do something egregious like that? Yeah.
Well, it was interesting that after she said the phone number, when they asked for Yella Beezy's phone number, I mean, the grandmother was the one. Well, she used to be a deputy clerk, so she was the one that was like suggested, like, I'm not giving you his phone number, but I'll write it down.
Yeah,
and you can, you know.
But the prosecutor knew. We're talking about these prosecutors who have been prosecuted over 15 plus years.
Right. This ain't new.
Right.
What the hell? You know how
they knew that.
Right.
And that's what also pissed me off, because you are upset because his grandmother, her demeanor was spicy.
Well, yeah, because you asked her.
But she had that demeanor, that hard demeanor from the beginning, and she didn't have to be like that.
Right.
She knows how this system works. She's being a clerk. You see everything. So for me, she could have came off a little softer than what she did, because that is what gave them the hard on to come after her like that, to be aggressive in that nature. They knew that they weren't supposed to ask for that number, knowing that them cameras was around, but they didn't give a fuck because they didn't like her demeanor.
Right.
So I ask, does the prosecution do stuff, the prosecution or defense, do either of them do stuff just for the grandstanding, just to, like, even no matter if we win or lose this case, like, we gonna make moments?
Yeah. They rehearse it. They rehearse. Yeah. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess how else do you get any notoriety in that instance if you especially if you losing cases and shit like that. Like, if you want people to know who you are, you got to do something outlandish, I guess,
And like I said, go back and look. This is the first big case. Since this is second term.
Yeah. I hate that it does have to be one of us. I hate that it's back to being another rapper again. Culturally, that's the most disappointing aspect of it for me, because we celebrate these individuals. We happy for them, to see them rise. I like to see men taking care of their families and shit like that online, and like you dwelling in your riches and you living your life. And then it seems like it always comes back to like here. Like, how do we get back here so often, knowing that it's out there for the taking? Like, they can arrest you, they can put you in prison, they can take everything that you have. How do we continue to fall in these pitfalls? And I don't want to say that the system has for us, but like, how do we continue this knowing what the outcome is each time? Like, it's perplexing to me. Like, that's the main question I have here. It's like, bro, you doing so much, and maybe now I'm learning about Mo3 a little more than I did before, because he seems like the person that I'm hearing about now. I guess I thought he was like playing that person, like like cosplay, and apparently not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I'm like, well, damn, maybe I mistook bro when he was alive. But
that's why I'm asking, like, okay, they do bring up all this stuff about him, but like, he gone. He can't. I mean, you can't. Obviously, you can. His character can come into question. Yeah. But at the same time, he can't. He can't go to jail. He can't go to trial. He can't, like, no matter what is said, like, no matter what is alleged that he's done or whatnot, it's like.
But see, I guess I looked at their situation, like, and maybe it was from the outside looking in, because I'm not from here, and so I don't know, I didn't know what part of Dallas he was from, if he was even there. Like, when he was alive, I know that was like being in the circuit of artists. It was like where he's from was a big deal for a while. Yeah. Right. Then there was this period of time where it seemed like he was always trying to prove how tough he was. So it was like, didn't matter how low the rapper was, if they said something to him, he had to prove, like, I'm this nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so the Yella Beezy thing, I feel like, and I could be wrong, and I'll take whatever else I made, but this felt like his trophy, damn near. Like this is my target now. Yeah. And he became that. Like, that's all he ever talked about. So it seems kind of obvious in these songs and these videos what he was referencing. You know what I'm saying?
So they had it's a lot, because it goes back like along, because they did not start off as enemies.
Right.
They matured into enemies.
Gotcha.
So,
but to say for your being that somebody who's came from similar backgrounds, you came up and obviously you made your way. But I want to ask you, being that from somebody who's came from them backgrounds, like even all of us have came from those types of backgrounds. It's like, how do you sit here? Like, you understand what is really going on. Like, they beefing. Like, okay, it might be over this, and that. But you, obviously, coming from that background, know the mentality of what's going on. Like, it's at the end of it all, it's like, it's some man. It could be some man stuff. It could be like, hey, I'm just like me coming from the hood. It's like he said, Mo3 was always trying to, it made it seem like he was always trying to prove that he was hard. But coming from where we come from, like, it's literally, if you don't act like that, like, you gonna get tried all the time.
It's the rapper persona, especially the gangster rapper persona. And I just felt like he pressed that real tough. And it felt like these, and I guess looking from the outside, it felt like Yella Beezy and them were at a point where they were like successful. And he was kind of on the cusp of it. And the common rapper thing to do, when you're on the up and up, we can go through the history. Right. If a nigga is here and you trying to get there, I'm shooting at you. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta go for the crown.
That wasn't his motivation.
Right.
His motivation came after a disagreement on that whole Stop Six.
That Pick Six. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That Pick Six song where whatever happened.
Right.
But there was
there's different origins.
It was literally no beef between these individuals. It matured. And when we're talking about in a time where social media, egos, money, power, respect, they're not thinking.
No, it's respect, then power.
They're not thinking about what the OGs used to do.
Oh yeah, not at all.
They used to go and have a conversation and iron that shit out. They're not thinking of it that way. I do think Mo3 had the short man complex also. That's the reason why he had to fight so much. That's the reason why he had to prove that he was bigger than the tallest man in the room because of that. I also know, based off of the situation with Roy Lee, that really pissed him off. And then when his best friend Bubba get killed, and it's allegedly tied to that side, the man went dark.
Yeah, he did.
It was like a terrorist, like a little Sonic the Hedgehog that was running through Dallas in that gold Honda and making a song about the bodies that he put on. Like it didn't have to get to that point, but it got to that point. It could have been controlled. It could have been stopped. They had to be responsible for that. They are responsible for it getting to that point. They didn't take a look at what they stood to lose, which is their life, their family, their livelihood, their freedom.
Gone.
Over the stupidest fucking beef about a damn song.
But John, being that we know hip hop, we've known the history of it. Being that we come from California, it's like the beef is where.
Oh my, California!
Hold on. You know what's funny though? I be apprehensive about telling people especially what part of California.
Listen, California ain't nobody got shit on California. I don't care between California and fucking New York. No, ain't.
No, you know, it's a lot of beefs that have gone down in Texas that have, been. But I'm saying to say
what
that
beef?
Just in history, in rap history, UGK was running around.
You should have said you were better off saying New Orleans or Baton Rouge.
Come to think of it, like beef in Texas.
Yeah,
unless it's like some shit I don't know about. Like I'm trying to think of like what was.
It's all kinds of
not to that magnitude.
It's all kinds of documentaries. It was to that magnitude. Like back in the day, like the ghetto boys beefing with, like, everybody beefing with somebody, and it would get to, it's deeper than what it was now. Even with Yella and Mo's situation, is the beefs that happened in the 90s is way different.
Now Texas beefing with artists outside of the state, I see that a lot. Yeah, I do see that a lot. I ain't gonna lie,
which is stupid. Texas, sit down.
But I'm saying to say that, to come back to the whole beef thing, man, being that we come from where we come from, we've also known that beef is something that is personal, but at the same time is also needed in the music.
Well, there's two types, right? Yeah, you have rap beef, right, which is always one thing. So a rap beef could either be competitive or it can be built on hatred, right? So you see the two where somebody like Jay-Z is competitive. Jay-Z and Nas is competitive. They can come back, Nas can work at Def Jam while Jay-Z's the president. Then you see shit like Biggie and Pac, which it wasn't competitive. That was like a different type of rap beef.
The beef between Biggie and Pac, the beef between Biggie and Pac had labels looking at it later on like telling their artists to beef with other artists. Where it originated. You can tell a lot of that originated there. Well, just even based on the sales, just based on the outcome.
They didn't start off beefing.
They didn't.
Nah, they didn't.
So that's why it was more personal than sales.
It's the people around you that ignite a beef that was not there. They are the ingredients in the beef. Yeah. People don't start when you look at the history of people and the evolution, people don't start out hating each other.
Facts.
But I can tell you a disagreement with the opinions of others. If you ain't strong enough in your own mind, you are going to allow somebody to trick you out of your spot.
Facts based on ego and groupthink.
And here's another thing. When people start to see you pull away,
oh yeah, definitely,
they'll take you from your spot.
Oh yeah, and everything that they try to do in that period of time is to just throw you off. Yeah, it's just to deter you from what they see that you're possibly doing. But I will say though, I guess the culture of like the drill culture changed how we saw rap beef as well too, right? So like there was a period of time where a nigga could rap against a person and it's okay. Like we'll be okay after, it was cool. I may have lost, whatever. But like drill culture was like, okay, now we killing each other.
Now we getting Rico.
And we talking about it. We catching cases on it. And that was
90s rap. When you was beefing in the 90s, like you had to fight. It was no, hey,
but rappers wasn't killing rappers.
Yes, nah. Oh man, they were fighting. They were
fighting, and guess what? They were going to see another day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like now, it's you gotta be cautious of every fucking thing. Like you don't know what people are holding, what they possessing, what their mental is, what kind of dysfunction they just came from. Right. Cause don't nobody want to settle the score the old school way. Right. They want to settle the score where you are ending up in a casket and your family is at a funeral.
But if you also lose a rap battle now, or not a rap battle, if you lose a beef now, regardless of like who it is against, if you lose a beef now, it's pretty much like you might as well
like death.
You might as well. You a dead man walking because you a dead man walking because your not only your sales are affected, your livelihood is affected, everything is affected. But your ego is affected.
There's also the part now, bro, to where a lot of these niggas don't grow up wanting to be rappers. They grow up wanting to have the rapper lifestyle and to be rich and to have the shit that rappers have, but they don't care about being a rapper. So if I can get rich, I'm gonna keep the same mentality that I came into it with. I'm not changing any of that. I'm just gonna, cause think about it. You talk to niggas, I'm not a rapper, I'm a hustler, or I'm this or I'm that. That became
I just happen to make music.
Yeah, that became a thing for so long to where this generation, they come up, man, I could put words together over a beat that I got off YouTube, and I get 1 million views on YouTube, and I'm gonna make some money off of it. I'm gonna do a couple shows. I'm gonna get into it with some niggas. It's just the same rhetoric over and over again for some of these people, bro. So it's kind of inevitable in a sense. Like think about all of the artists that from a certain era, whether it be the Mellies, the King Vons, you got to throw Yella and Mo3 in there too. Same era, the Dirks. Like think of all these people, bro. Like just in a microcosm of all the things that we see in hip hop, and they all embody the same shit. Like they catch us on the same shit.
But they embody the same thing, and they also didn't remove themselves from that mentality.
Facts.
And that's the problem.
Facts.
They all, when you group them all together, all of them are equally overly successful.
Facts.
But they did not detach from those humble beginnings to subscribe to where they were supposed to be. Like, who in their right fucking mind is going out here catching bodies when I'm catching millions of dollars? Ain't no way in the hell you should be out here trying to defend a life that is no longer here.
Facts.
They can't come back. And guess what? They can't help you either. You can help your family. You can help their family. But you can't do that from behind bars. Dirk.
The same shit ends in the same way. Listen, now those type of stories. Now, if we were having this conversation about that young man, this conversation would be much different.
I mean, I don't think so. Because it's the same case. It's both the same case. It's a murder for hire case. All right,
it's on the federal. It's literally.
That's the difference.
So when the Fed, so it's different when the feds come versus the state, right? But what is the difference when the feds come versus when the state come? Because just say what's the difference between Lil Durk and Yella Beezy? Yella Beezy gets arrested by the sheriffs and whatnot. Durk gets arrested by federal agents and whatnot, trying to make it to
which one's still in prison?
Listen,
right.
I'm gonna tell you like this.
Which one's still in prison?
They both.
You have a better chance at kicking the state's prosecutor ass over the feds.
Yep.
You have a better chance. Now, if you got NBA YoungBoy lawyer, because NBA YoungBoy lawyer has,
the greatest lawyer
they kicked some federal prosecutors' asses and made them mad. But you have a better Young Thug's case, Rico. That could have been a federal Rico. But
I mean, does that count? Because he took a plea. Like he said, I accepted guilt, but I mean, he took a plea.
His lawyer, Funny fucked up and didn't let the feds take the case. She did exactly what I believe this district attorney is doing. Got too emotionally invested and did not pay attention to the oath and the why. Got too emotionally involved.
Yeah, I agree.
And when you get too emotionally involved, you fuck up.
Lose your sensibilities.
So what she did was exactly what he did. But in that case, the state just started fucking up.
Yeah,
I'm calling they was fucking up.
A whole lot, yeah. And
what the defense, what Brian still did, which pissed me off because they were up they upped the score on them. It was going to be a not guilty. He made the biggest fit about some evidence and was calling for a mistrial, made this big ass spectacle, which caused the judge to say, hey, let me go and think about this. Whenever a judge starts saying, let me go think about it, what they're going to do is pull y'all in the office and see if y'all can make a deal. Because they know that there's a big fuck up. There's going to be issues on appeal. And there's going to be a likelihood that prosecutors can get a grievance filed against them. If he had not did that big ass spectacle, the case would have continued and he would have been found not guilty. But because of that, Young Thug was like, shit, I can get me a deal. I can go home today. I can
go home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home.
Fuck the trial. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. I agree. That logic makes sense.
Yeah.
The state was fucking up. His lawyer cost him, in my opinion, on the you can make those type of arguments and keep the record clear, but when you start going in a whole fucking monologue like you are trying to win an Oscar, which that's what it was.
Yeah, you putting on a show.
You literally cost your client 10 years on probation.
Shit.
When he could have been free. But it was ultimately his decision.
Yeah.
But his attorney should have never put him in that predicament to have to make that decision.
But they had they talked for at least a few hours, let alone that day.
We ain't talk about you getting up there acting like this is an Oscar.
Yeah, but I'm saying in Young Thug's case, I'm saying when they went in the back and was like, okay, look, this is the deal. We gonna get you can go home today. That's all he heard. I don't even think Young Thug. I really don't think Young Thug heard anything else after that. All he heard was you can go home today. Man, if you agree to a 10-year probation, you leave Atlanta.
Like hell.
You can't do none of this. You can't do none of that. Hell. You can still perform. You still gonna be able to do shows as long as you act right. We still gonna let
shows you doing in Atlanta though.
Oh,
goddamn.
No, he not doing nothing in Atlanta. They saying you
on tour.
You are
banned. So I can move around.
You can move around, but you are banned from Atlanta for a while. You are banned from Atlanta for at least 30 years or something.
But he can't do any drugs. He can't do none of that.
He already looked like he didn't do drugs in there anyway.
He didn't. He was doing drugs before he went in there.
Right. He was 2 sizes. He was 2 sizes bigger.
I do have a theory, and I'm gonna go out of here. I have a theory about the big arrest and then release of rappers. Right. I feel like there's this conscious effort to where, knowing that most rappers nowadays are involved with individuals, if they're not involved themselves, with serious crimes, in the case of somebody like Sue Surf, right? I can loop you into this with the intention to just put you on probation. So now I control you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's happening so much because we see these circumstances where this shit happens and then the person gets released. But now you can't move how you want to move. You turn into Young Boy to where every time you turn around, everything you do, or like Meek Mill for 20 years straight or however long it was.
And that judge should have been disbarred.
Everything you do, we're going to get you back on.
In Young Boy's case, didn't he made up a whole fake prescription? It's different when you
say, bro, listen, he's young. Okay, he's learning.
But you're doing stuff to
But here's the thing. They put him on house arrest to mentally drain him.
Exactly.
So when you are doing these things intentionally, the justice system is not that oath that you've taken does not say to be intentional about locking somebody up here. What they did was intentionally drown him because they wanted to weaken him. They wanted him to make a mistake because as long as we got you under our we can control you. It don't matter how big you are. And that's the problem.
Yes.
And here, with these artists, they got to move smarter. When you move smarter, and I mean from your team to you, if you got weak links around you, they got to go. If you got leeches around you, they need to go. If you got rainwaters around you, they got to go.
Facts.
Because they are not only toxic, they are a disease. And the only way you cure that disease, one, it can be permanent, like HIV, and you can never get rid of that virus, or you got to take some medicine to get rid of them. You never want your team to be a liability. If they're not an asset, they're a liability.
Facts. It's my favorite fucking saying.
They not an asset, they're a liability.
I tell niggas that want to work. It's like, you try to collab with something, make yourself an asset, not a liability. But if
what are you bringing to the table?
Facts.
If you are bringing a bill, you gotta go.
Liability. Okay, so I asked this and that question to question that theory though. If you're into these kind of things, alleged illegal activities, does it matter how strong your team is? You see what I'm saying? Because they're not stronger than the feds.
You are literally the nucleus.
Facts. Yeah.
If you are showing your team that this is how y'all rocking, that's how they gonna rock.
They should follow. That's true. Otherwise, if they still into the other shit, you're a liability. So
exactly. So you are creating the environment for your people to either evolve or stay in that mind frame.
Stagnant.
Damn. But I got a question. So talking about home confinement, being that Yella is on home confinement, me looking at the sheet of what his conditions are, and after he posted bond, I'm not confused on it, but I've always wanted to ask somebody who has been in the system, what is it about? Because this is not a drug case. So what is it about why he has to go and provide a drug test every time he's called upon? That's what it said. It said he has to do a urine, and he can't. I mean, obviously he can't do any drugs. He has to do urine and drug testing. But I'm asking, being that this is not a drug case, why does he have to do that? Why is that part of one of his conditions? It's standard.
Some majority of the conditions on there are standard for any violent or non-violent offender, even with it being an elevated felony. Facts. So the fact that there's in there, it's just a standard condition. Are they going to be doing random? No, because one, he doesn't have a drug case. And they can't say that he has a history of having drug issues. But can they call and say, hey, we want to, are they? Probably not.
So if they do, what happens if they do when he fails?
Then
back in that situation,
he gonna have to go.
Right.
Technically, they can violate him.
Right.
Technically, are they gonna violate him on a? Probably fucking not.
Right.
You know, the man needs some doggone marijuana. Y'all is stressed his ass out.
First of all, it's illegal. Marijuana is illegal in Texas. So,
well, under the right dosage.
Right.
You know, he could have a medical marijuana card.
Yeah.
You know, he did almost die.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So he may have some, pain.
He got something from Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, like you said how home confinement has on somebody mentally.
Yeah.
What is it, being that he hasn't had any serious offenses like this before, and being this is his first time, and he's on home confinement for however long until the trial, and who's to say that the trial won't happen later or start in like December or November or something like that? Like, being that you got to sit in the house, or he's able to ask to request for his shows and whatnot to still do his business, but you are confined to your house until your trial and whatnot. But for some people, people like to be at home, but not. I think it's
not forcefully.
Yeah, not forcefully. But so, what does somebody go through that's doing this for the first time, and what is he gonna have to prepare for?
One, he's gonna have to prepare his lawyers to come back in there and say, "Can we lift some of this home confinement restriction?" Because that is an option, but for Yella Beezy, I think he's going to recall those 8 days where he was in Lulu, because that's what we call Lucere, the Lulu. That ain't no.
Hell no.
It's a no. It's a hell no.
Right.
With it.
So he's going to recall those 8 days, and then he's going to look at his mansion and be like, shit, I can. He probably going to put on some weight.
Yeah.
But it's going to give him an opportunity to reflect on life in general, because what an indictment is meant for you to do is to put you in prison before prison.
Right.
So he's going to have to, one, he said he goes to therapy once a week. He said that on a podcast that he had recently did with Keita Rose. So he's going to have to lock into his therapy as well
would
as
the therapist have to come to him though?
No, right? it can be virtual.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Virtual.
Yeah, that new shit.
That new.
Right.
So it's about not allowing this system to confine you and staying hopeful, understanding that it's going to work out how it's going to work out.
Right.
But don't let, while you are in the midst of your attorneys and preparing for the biggest case of your life, don't allow this case to convict you already. Stay true to who you are. Continue to write your music. Continue to record. Continue to love on your family. Continue to develop the person that you are going to be coming out of this. Because what they want you to do is convict your mind first. Facts. To say that and feel that you've already lost. And that's not the case. They don't have the final say. The jury is going to have the final say. But ultimately, God has the only say. So you don't know. You don't get to see what happens in their jury room to know exactly what decision they're going to make. So that's something I would tell anybody that is on a confinement or has a case pending. Do not allow them to convict you up here. Because that's what the system is designed to do.
Yeah, what does home confinement do for? What effects does home confinement have on a family?
A lot. One, because your family is also going through that with you. Yeah. So they may not feel the emotions that you feel, but they have their own emotion. They have their own trauma. They have their own conviction up here. Is daddy gonna be gone? Is my son leaving? Is my friend? They having to go through that with you. So naturally they want to automatically support you. But they miss out on supporting themselves. Facts. So as a family unit, as a friend, you also got to take care of yourself so that you can be there for that person in their time. Because what a lot of people don't talk about with individuals who are going through this is they isolate themselves to not subject the people that love them to what the reality of people wanted them to subscribe to. Gotcha. So as a collective, y'all have to be so locked in, not only with each other, but mentally you got to take care of yourself too.
Especially when you've been so accustomed to a particular lifestyle. So you go from going where you want to go, being where you want to be, and not even on the sense of like us normal niggas, but like you really live the life you want to live. You're really accomplished and been able to travel and go places, and now you in the house. You know what I'm saying? So I guess no matter how like illustrious your palace is, you know what I'm saying, you can only walk around that motherfucker so many times. You know what I'm saying? Before you like, damn, I wish I could go. Because I think in his case, I don't know if the doing shows and shit right now is even gonna be culpable.
I feel like it's possible, but
I mean, it's possible legally. I get that part. Well, I'm speaking about
it really just depends on the promoters and if they.
That's what I'm saying. That's
and
my
the court
thing.
If they allow them to do it.
Is it worth it though?
I mean, the person he was beefing with ain't gonna be there, so I don't see why not. I'm saying though, like, where's the danger? Where's the danger at?
It exists. I mean, not necessarily even in the danger.
I mean, he was.
But from a marketability standpoint,
I can understand if this was like a year after or within a year after it happened, then yeah. But it's been 5 years. He done done shows and
here's
everything.
Another thing. This is my. And I wish his defense attorneys would have hung in on this even more and reminded the judge, like, hey, this case is almost 5 years old. My client was only arrested for a false allegation. My client has been an upstanding member of the community. Donation after donation, giving back. Not a flight risk, has not broken any laws, has had to defend himself against a false accusation, showed up to court every time. Why is my client confined to his home when you can put a leg monitor, have a curfew? Let's talk about that.
Right.
That was an option. However, this is another thing with defense attorneys. You have to have people on your team that can articulate that for you when you are trying to focus on making sure you get them free. A lot of defense attorneys don't have trial strategy teams.
Oh, okay.
Which means that they would have been like, oh, Let's talk about if they could go and research how many individuals that have had a capital murder previously and how their bonds were reduced. Let's talk about my client not being a danger to the community. He hasn't been a danger in these last 5 years that the government has set on this case, while there are actual victims who were injured and still alive, did not get a chance to seek justice on their behalf because you were being calculating
facts
and using this as a political tool. You didn't care about those victims.
Right.
Let's talk about it. But that's something his defense attorneys are going to have to navigate through, because baby, I would muddy up the waters. This is a political lynching of a successful black man.
So
at the hands of a black man.
So I guess I would ask, why didn't he, I'm saying Yella Beezy, if he would be the defendant, being that you've done prosecution, never done the defense side, but being that you are so passionate about it, why wouldn't they enlist you to be the attorney?
Because I wouldn't do it.
Why wouldn't you do it? Well, I'm saying, why wouldn't you do it? Because they need somebody. I mean, obviously, if I'm going and fighting for my life, I need somebody, and I literally leaving it in somebody else's hands because you're not representing yourself. Like, if I'm fighting for my life, I'm going to go grab somebody who is as passionate, or if not even more passionate than me, to see my freedom. Whereas, like I asked, with you being as passionate as you are, just as a person of the justice system, like, why, if they enlisted you, or if they went to you and was like, yo, Miss Anderson, we want you to represent him in this case, why would you say no?
One, my passion is not for defense. Although I have a passion for criminal justice reform. Now, if there was an opportunity for me to assist, absolutely I would, because I see what they're doing. Oh, you could be second chair, yeah. No, I wouldn't even do that. She said, "No, I'm nowhere. I'm not even in the bench.
I'm gonna watch from where I'm watching right now."
I will help you strategize.
All right.
I will be your mouthpiece. But as far as litigating on that scale, I don't have the passion to do it on that scale, but I do have a passion to help behind the scenes. Because I do think it's power in being able to help assist in the strategy behind how to help a team overcome a hurdle that is automatically given to them by the form of an indictment. I do think, even with Toby Shook being a great defense attorney,
award-winning at that,
he's going to need someone, if not me, someone like me, assisting him in the lingo that goes on in this music industry, because he doesn't have the wherewithal of a Bryson Steele, who is inundated in the hip-hop community. You know, his ability to articulate and draw jurors in is a valuable asset for Yella Beezy. But he also needs someone that has a understanding of the culture, so that he can make for a greater impact, because these prosecutors are rehearsed. They rehearse their everything. They don't have the ability to automatically maneuver or turn on a different switch.
So improvisation.
One, they're not black. They're not us. Can't nobody try a case like a black person, and that's just my opinion, because we have, based on our ancestry, we had to understand that we were behind the ball automatically, even with being ahead of the curve. So we have to prepare as if we've already lost and we haven't gotten a verdict yet.
Facts.
So that's going to make us automatically over-prepare and outperform. Toby, with all the swag in the world that he has, and he got so much swag, I didn't try to case with Toby, and I was just like, sir.
You went against him.
I went against him. And he still has to get that hip-hop lingo. Like, because you're talking about two of the biggest artists in Dallas going at it. How are you going to be able to relate to show that your client, without him getting on the stand, without implicating that Mo3 tried to kill your client? How are you going to get the jury to sympathize with you? You're going to have to make the victim look like the worst, most dangerous resident of Dallas County, going around terrorizing Dallas County. And you're going to have to make your client look like the superstar that he is, because the greatest asset that Yella had Yella had over Mo3 is that he didn't talk.
Yeah, that is true. That is fucking true. He didn't talk during the whole process. He would like avoid questions or even interviews with certain individuals that would ask him certain, like a Say Cheese interview. He would completely negate it, or he would like be very vague about anything. And I would think, if a nigga shot me, I'm not gonna talk about you. I mean, I'm not gonna say your name, but I'm gonna make sure I'm not as, Yeah.
But that's not what he's on trial for either, though. He's on trial for
murder for hire.
So he's on trial for playing like he's a kingpin and paying somebody to put a hit out on somebody else.
But guess what?
To say like, oh, he tried to kill me, so I fear for my life, so I had to
all that comes in. But that's how you have to confuse the jury.
Yeah, that's true.
And confusion creates doubt. The defense job is not to prove the state's case. It's to fuck up their case with so much doubt. The state is going in with doubt. The one witness rule. There are so many jurors that will tell you that's all you got on a capital murder, and you want me, this is a death penalty style, and you only got one witness?
Hell no.
And you want me to get me up out this jury?
Yeah.
They're going to say, no, I cannot do that off of one, especially if the damn witness was not on the fucking scene. Because what we ask in Board Dyer, we say, how do you know someone's seen something at 100%?
Facts.
My eyes was closed. I blinked.
Yeah, you would have had to have been there.
I blinked.
Yeah, you had to have been there.
So you bringing me somebody that's off of a damn conversation after the fact?
So that seems so shaky. Like, that can't be it. This person better have. That's what I'm saying. They better have.
I mean, but
it better be some shit, man.
It's like
circumstantial.
It's not what you know, though. It's what you can prove.
Exactly. But that's the problem with the grand jury proceedings as well. Grand jury does not get to hear from the defendant. They only get to hear what the state got. It's very one-sided.
Damn, I didn't know that.
How much is this case? Or how much is this case costing? How much is this case costing?
It's going to cost
the city. I'm saying in whole, not what Yella is paying his attorney. I'm talking about how much is this case costing, because we're the ones that's paying for it, or the taxpayers are the ones that's paying for it. It's the same thing with the YNW Melly case. Like, this case is going on a trial for 2 years now. But he's been since 2019. He's been locked up or detained since 2019, and it's been a whole thing. Like even us trying to figure out how much that case is costing the state
that's over 7 figures. That ain't no way.
Right. So how much is this case going to cost the city?
Well,
a ballpark figure, because we ain't gonna know. Because I mean, we ain't gonna.
It's different because Yella Beezy does not have a public defender, or he was not appointed an attorney. So when you are appointed an attorney, then the appointed attorney, which I'm gonna just say this, a lot of over 80% of the appointed attorneys are some of the best attorneys in the state.
Interesting.
They don't appoint you.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking that chance though.
People think that you are going to get appointed a public defender.
Right.
Not all the time. Some of the best lawyers get appointed to your case. And I mean, I ain't talking about the little puppy. I'm talking about the not guilty.
Not with my life on the line. I'm gonna go get me. I'm gonna go find somebody.
Well, if you can't afford it, guess
Right,
what?
yeah,
And if I just so happen to look up and get the bull of all bull, I have seen it.
That's luck, though. That's not.
But like I said, the 80% of them are some of the best attorneys. Opposed to even when you go on and hire an attorney, you can hire one of the worst ones, and you had a better chance at the appointed.
Right. All right, but if the roles was reversed and you was obviously a defendant, and they gave you the opportunity to either have a public defender or you could seek counsel elsewhere, what would you decide? You just
not
said
a public,
that.
Not a public defender. Appointed.
Yeah,
okay, it don't matter. Appointed. If the court is going to appoint a lawyer for you,
it's not majority going to be public defender. I'm just saying.
Okay, in your case,
so if in my case, I would play the system like Yella Beezy did. I would sit like he did. He that was the strategy. He could have paid to get out, but they knew that damn bond was too fucking high for no reason. So I would take a look at the appointed lawyer first.
I was just going to say, is that possible?
He declined.
So you can see who they appoint first, and then you say, that's what I was going to ask you.
Nah, he just
see who they pull out there, bro.
I'm going to see who they pull out, and then I'm going to say, y'all, go ahead and pull the trigger. Go ahead and get that lawyer.
Bail me out.
Right.
So you have that option. A lot of people don't take advantage of that. Like I would.
It sounds like a public defender. It sounds like I'm getting a public defender.
You're not.
I understand you saying that now, but I'm saying
that's why I said take that. That's why I said take that out of the mentality. That's the mentality that they have dug for so long that you're automatically going to get a public defender. You getting some of the top dogs.
Look at us. We're going to have some people out there. Look, I'll take the appointed.
Toby has been appointed.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, I'm talking about the heavy hitters. Because when they get appointed, they get paid a lot of money.
I was just going to say, what's the benefits of being an appointed?
So that's why I said the difference between the amount of money the state is going to, or the taxpayers are going to come out of pocket, is going to be significantly lower because he has a private attorney. So when you are an appointed attorney, the judge pays for investigators, pays for experts. You get money to hire these outside individuals to put on your defense.
Right.
So that's money coming from the taxpayers. Now, because he has a private attorney, that's expenses that he has to. Expense,
right?
Yeah,
that's interesting. That is interesting.
They tell you, okay, you say that,
take my chances.
But they tell you that when after they read your arraignment and talking about pretty much they telling you like your life is on the line because either one, in a case like this, you either going to jail for life or they're gonna give you the death penalty, or that's an option. When you hearing that, what makes you think but the court tells you, hey, we have an appointed attorney for you if you need one. But if I do that, I'm taking my chance with the court, and I ain't gonna. My life is on the line. I don't know if I could do that. If my
I'm
life
telling
is on the
you,
line.
roll that dice. I've been there. I know these type of lawyers. I would bet on an appointed lawyer any day. I would test the waters because you always have an option to hire your own attorney.
Right.
Oh, okay.
There's no window
It's
of that
not,
closing.
yeah,
Gotcha.
you have the option.
That just prolongs your trial.
Yeah, well, no, not even prolong. Like,
It won't.
no.
I mean, they'll say like, "Look, you got a month to get."
No, because the judge can say, "Well, your attorney has had 10 days on the case."
Right. Right.
I need more than that.
Are there any instances where like the appointed attorney works for like a private attorney? Is that possible? Or once you get your own, they just tell them to stay out? Like, how does that work?
Well,
Like,
they can have someone. They can bring an attorney onto the case with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That can be a double team.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
If you feel like he can help you build a stronger case, yeah, that makes sense.
So you're saying that the whole case, the whole trial will cost
At least 7 figures.
Figures about 7 figures.
6 to 7.
How much it's probably have cost so far? Because you got to think about the amount of money that they paid these prosecutors to investigate, what DPD and the federal agents have done to investigate.
All that legwork.
All of that legwork, the man hours that go into that. I would say ballpark, I would say about $1 million, because an appointed attorney on this kind of case can clear about $500,000.
I'm sure of it. It's gonna be worth your time. It'll be worth your time, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. So,
will this go down as one of the most important cases in just Dallas, not just, I wouldn't say Texas, because obviously they have millions of cases that are highly more decorated than this would be, but would this be something that is going to be one of those most important cases in Dallas?
I think so. I think it would have a pivotal benchmark on criminal justice in a sense of, one, how monumental it could be under the one witness rule.
Right.
Because on a capital murder for this type of individual,
right,
I think, and I'm just predicting right now, from what I know, based off of what we have been shown, it's going to be a big case because they're going to be handed an L. I don't think a jury is going to convict him off of one witness, off of the magnitude of what they're saying. I just don't see it right now. Now, as it continues to mature, as we see who else that they are alleging that they have tied to this, could my position go back to neutral? Yes. But as it stands right now, in knowing how ill-prepared the state is with trying to convict someone based off of a rap beef, I think that a jury, as we stand right now, would find him not guilty.
What kind of ramifications does this have on Yella Beezy's career? In your case, as somebody in the justice system, I mean, even after this, I'm sure, like, even if he get like a traffic stop or something like that, it'll be high profile. No matter what it is, like what he does after this, no matter what the outcome is of the case, what does this do to him, to his career? Like just him as a...
Nothing. It doesn't harm his career at all. I think if people nationwide knew the magnitude of what actually was going on between the two of them, they would look at him and like, shit, I would have did that too. You tried to kill me, like, and then you wrote a whole diss song.
It's a
few eye for an eye, tooth for a
few of them.
I mean, but at the same time, their beef did help them, like, help their music sales. There's no doubt about it. Their beefs,
I think it helped
their
Mo.
rivalries.
I think it helped Mo 3 more.
Right. It helped Mo 3.
Well, yeah, one was trying to. I mean,
That's on Me was already out of here.
Yeah, one
you know
was
saying, like,
and on top of that, he was already pivoting off into like doing like other types.
But I mean, as far as that level,
at the same time, at that level, it was. I mean, no matter what, their beef has helped them significantly with their music careers.
I wish it wouldn't have helped them to the grave. You know, I wish it wouldn't have helped them get to a point of no return.
Right.
But I don't think this changes his ability to maneuver as a rap artist, because all these damn rap artists got some kind of conviction on they, you know, the baby then got away with killing somebody.
I don't look. That's not technically getting away with it. Look, yes, he did, but he was defending himself.
Still a murder.
It's on tape. It's on tape. I was defending myself. My baby was with me.
I agree with that part.
At the same time, Yella Beezy technically, allegedly defended himself too. You
that's two different scenarios.
It's not no two. Listen,
I don't
care what
he's
kind
on
of
trial
time
right
gap,
now because
I don't care what time gap goes on.
Right.
You chase me down and I'm minding my business, trying to get home safe.
Allegedly, that's what happened.
And I almost die. And then you put out a diss record on, what was the diss record? Out the Gym? Where not only you talk about trying to kill me, but trying to kill Earl Spence.
It's all
Earl was a menace out here. Hey, when I heard that blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
The theories,
and even the video when I seen it recently, they was like, yeah, that was the little gold car. But I was like, what? And now that I seen the video recently, I'm talking about like yesterday. I watched it again, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, whether it's him in it or not, just the thought of it is like, damn.
Let me tell you this.
At the same time, Earl was drunk.
No.
I think he was scared.
He would admit that because
he would say, I was drunk.
Because guess what? I'm not finna tie myself to.
Yeah, he can't have any ties to that.
When you drive down Riverfront, you went down Riverfront. Earl was not that drunk to be driving that fast.
His alcohol level says different.
No. He was not that drunk to be driving that fast. He was running.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like.
I'm going to say this. I'm assuming based off of the speed, he was running from somebody. And that damn Honda can't keep up with
a Ferrari.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where DPD didn't do their fucking job. Because allegedly, the little gold Honda was shooting. That's the reason why allegedly the Lambo, like you can't catch me.
Right.
Let's be fucking for real, little Honda.
So
you can't catch me.
Yeah.
They didn't go and check to see if there was any shell casings anywhere, because they would have found it. But that's the sloppy work of not only DPD. Guess what? If DPD is sloppy, guess who else is sloppy?
All in the family.
Why is the Dallas sheriffs so invested in this case? I say that because we obviously in the courtroom, it's 4 or 5 sheriffs in there. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know how many is usually in there, but I'm guessing being that I've done trials before,
right?
But most of the trials that I've done obviously has had large amounts of sheriff presence in it because they are invested in the case.
It's a superstar.
Oh, okay.
It's Yella Beezy.
They was definitely talking about it afterwards. They was like, "Yo, yeah, he got it reduced." Like it was officers coming in, like sheriffs coming in from. They ain't had. They probably didn't even. They shift probably didn't even start yet. I just came to see what was going on, and they were sitting there going back at it like, "Yeah, he got off. I told you he was going. See this what happened."
I'm telling you, majority of them are rooting for him, because people know that this is intent. Like on an ordinary day, there is no state or a district attorney's office that is going to hold on to a case for this long.
Yeah.
That's why I tell people you have to question the motive. Why now? Why did you wait so long? Why did you send him to the feds first?
Right.
That discovery is going to be very key for his attorneys. I want to know when y'all allegedly, all of a sudden, found this out.
Right.
How long was y'all sitting on this? When did y'all ever have a conversation with Keywan?
Right.
I want to see the Fed, because they are entitled to the federal discovery as well under Brady and Michael Moore. So they're going to get to see every single thing. And if there is a cover-up,
yeah, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
It's going to be ugly for them.
If not guilty, can Yella Beezy sue the city?
That's going to be pretty hard because prosecutors have this thing called immunity that I think needs to go away. I think all immunity needs to go away for state actors who utilize their oath to target certain prosecutions, because that's not what your oath says. Now, if there is anything that is discovered that should be considered prosecutorial misconduct, then that's something that can be later discussed. But until they take immunity away, which I think needs to be done to make it an even playing field, to also put them on notice like, hey, you have a responsibility and you have this power. But if you decide that you are going to forget and ignite a power that you should not have, come to the table.
Right. Facts.
Come to the light. Because you need to also be subjected to what you have subjected someone to wrongfully.
Oh, definitely.
Because they do that every day. So they need to be held accountable. And until that, then the option to sue, it has to be something just so egregious to where not only the bar reprimands them, they could possibly get a suspension. You can then say, oh, this, intentional infliction. But that's a high burden.
Yeah, it gotta be something super egregious.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. It definitely is gonna be interesting to see. I'm tapped into it now. It's like I've always been big on I'm a real life documentary, you know what I'm saying, crime series type shit. And this is just right up my little wheelhouse. I'm not gonna lie to you, but definitely dope having you here.
Thank you.
Definitely dope. We definitely appreciate you coming out.
No, man, we got it. Look, speaking of reality, we got to talk about your reality. Your reality show that we're working on.
About that.
Legal in the legal realm too at that. So we looking at the next Real Housewives franchise.
Hopefully.
So what's the concept?
Sisters or no? Yes.
Single-in-law.
Single-in-law.
Yes. Single-in-law is a concept that I created to follow strong, powerful, Black female lawyers, in our singleness, and just show a different side of African American female lawyers, because like I said, can't nobody outdo us. They can't outdo us. They can't outshine us. They can't out trial us. They can't anything. And I think it's time for the world to see that.
Facts.
I think it's time for the world to stop looking at us like we got a bulletproof vest on, because we have the same vulnerable moments. We bleed the same. We have, nightmare dating experiences. It's really ghetto, out here.
She said, just because we attorneys don't mean we just.
Right.
No, like it's some of the work. Like hell
still
no.
nasty.
So y'all not doing like what's the show? Oh, so y'all not doing like Power and stuff like that. I'm saying like y'all dating lives ain't like we dating people that is also in the legal field. We dating people that.
So it's kind of like the concept. Here. What is that show? The like Married to Medicine or whatever that is, but the single version. Yeah, that's dope. I like that. That's Excuse me,
I got that from.
Yeah, I'm definitely a married man. I do watch reality TV. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things.
I watch Love Is Blind. I'll be sitting there like.
See, I can't watch it on my own though. See, that's what we defer.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I've gotten away from TV in general. If it's not, I like reality shit. I like real shit sometimes, and like. A lot of shit is convoluted and scripted.
We love Law and Order. What you mean? Everybody watch Law and Order.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if Yella Beezy is smart, what he would do is start documenting
everything,
every single experience. Because let me tell you something: whether a jury determines or it gets to that point, you want to capitalize off your own story. You want to tell your own story. Yeah. Because if you think they not going to go to the state and the state going to put on that theatrical show like they always do.
Yeah. You know it.
I knew from the beginning that this was a slam dunk.
Right.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You was over there having bubble guts before every statement. You were over there shaking like an ice cube in a cold freaking glass of
facts.
They not like that. Like, and I wish people understand when they not looking like us. They are so unsure of themselves. It is easy to trip them up because they don't know their own identity. They never been through the struggle. They never had to work in order to get out of a sticky situation. So they are rehearsed. So it's easy to kick their ass because they don't know how to maneuver when shit hits the fan. And you know who gets to see it? A damn jury. They like, we know you ain't. I've had juries say this. We know you ain't know what you was talking about. You just start, as soon as the sign of distress, you just
tucked your tail.
Yeah.
I'm
telling you, like, when it came to me going against a white defense attorney, sign me the fuck up. Like, this is the easiest thing. I ain't gotta worry about. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I ain't even gotta prepare. But when it came to going against a black defense attorney, rumble in the fucking junk.
You ain't for the fight of your life.
You see similar work ethics.
I'm in for the fight of my life. My wig better be glued down. Listen.
That's funny.
So will the reality show focus more on the legal aspect or just y'all personal life aspect?
Everything.
That's a reality show.
Everything from our careers to our dating, personal lives, to friendship. Like, when I say everything,
it has to.
We are, because the world needs to see.
The access is the part. Like, I don't want to watch something like that and see you being guarded.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I watching you for? Like, you don't want to talk about nothing. You don't bring anything on camera or anything substantial for me to sit here and be tapped in with. You got to open up a bit when you're there. Like, regardless of, whether it's intrusive or not, that's just kind of a part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What made you decide to be like, I want to do a reality show like this?
Because
representation.
Not only representation, I think people, the one thing that I learned in this profession is to not allow it to sink you. Try everything. Do not limit yourself based off of profession. And we can get to that point because all of the fucking rules that they tell you gotta adhere to. So I I'm a freaking reality junkie. Like, I like looking at reality TV. But I did a reality show to actually see and experience it, to understand, okay, is this something that I want to actually do
and see yourself?
And I was like, fuck yeah, this is fun as hell. Like, you mean to tell me I can, you know, like when they say lights, camera, action, like I could just be myself, like in my natural element, and people can get to relate to me. Hell yeah, like where is the money though?
Big facts.
Especially if you go to attorney, you gonna try and play an attorney.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't know, like, you use that opportunity to grow other things. Like, I'm not gonna, being a lawyer is fucking ghetto. I am doing other things, like creating other businesses and using it as a marketing and branding tool. But I get to enjoy y'all seeing what the hell I do and how unorthodox, like, we really are. Like, no, we really are real people. We go to the strip club. We go, you know, we have our nights out. Like, it's time for people to see that.
That's we also go to work and defend.
Yeah, like, you know.
Back at it, okay? Don't get it fucked up.
Exactly.
Get right back to it.
We got our shit together.
The strip club at 2 a.m. and in the courtroom at 8.
Yeah,
it's a big deal though, and I think even in those instances, it's good to have somebody doing things that's, like you say, not the typical or not the standard. I think that gives those, like, you know, I got a daughter, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool for her to be like, oh, those are lawyers. They still kick it like regular people do. They go out, they got money, they got fly clothes, they drive fancy cars, because they don't really see that. If I ask my daughter, well, what's a lawyer right now? She gonna find the white man in the room. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the perception that society pushes on us. So I think inclusivity in all areas is important. And like I said, that's why I say representation, because you don't see a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially not successful, young, you know what I'm saying? Still at the point of their life where you're in your prime. You know what I'm saying? You think lawyer, and sometimes you think older, you think kind of more. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? You think about that. You think about the typical public defender look that shows up with the two big papers and shit all everywhere. You don't really think about, like, hey, I can do this and be successful and it be appealing. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope. Yeah. That's super dope. Is there any content that you're making right now that's leading into this, or is it just kind of
no content that we are making at the moment, because, you know,
still in the planning phases.
I am going to predict that we're going to get it sold within the next few months, because this is something that, when it's put in the right hands, because I'm not going to act like this has been an easy journey.
It still has to be entertaining at the end of the day.
It still has to be entertaining, and I am confident in the group of women that are a part of this, that it is going to be everything that I anticipate. But it did not come without having trial and error.
Of course.
And I, you know, being in the hands, and this is one thing about Black people, I want Black people to stop doing. Stop playing in the faces of your people. Stop using your people and then misusing them.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Had a really awful experience with a Black individual that is really popular, that is, you know, you wouldn't think that this person would be like that.
As far as experience, what do you mean? Like, as far as like a dating experience, or
in this project,
right?
So I was referred to this person by an amazing individual.
That's how it started. I was always referred.
And they are, you know, one of the individuals that are a leader in Black reality TV. But what was revealed is they were using my opportunity to sell their opportunity.
Good old undercut.
Oh, rope a dope.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a little back
but here's the thing.
Yeah, we got this show, but look, check this out.
Exactly. And then you try to backdoor it and try to no.
Yeah.
But what they did was actually set me up for a better opportunity with an even more relevant person that actually sells shows and not pretend like they have these connections.
Gotcha.
When their connections are only connections that they want to use for themselves. Black people got to do better, because she better be glad that, you know, I ain't air her out. Yeah. And I ain't saying I'm not going to, but
I'm gonna wait till after
I'm gonna wait, picked up. And I may never do it
after the pilot
because I was elevated in the midst of them trying to demote. You can't demote what God showed me was you, and said, no, this ain't it. But I need you to see this, because the television industry is very grimy.
Oh, hell yeah. It's always.
So to see that so fucking early on.
Prepared you.
Good old addition by subtraction, as they say.
Yeah. So
get you up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Make sure, if people that are going in that business, you got to make sure you are protected. You got your ducks in a row. Like, if my project was not so secured in what it is, they would have stole it.
Oh yeah, that's lesson number one.
Single-in-law.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense though, because it another point going into being a black woman in entertainment, you know, that's also an easy target for people try to misuse, as you said. And so, you know, you have to be extra guarded in everything, especially your intellectual property, because people will take that from you as if it didn't come from your mind. Like a motherfucker will steal something you thought of. And they just be like, all right, so we're going to argue about whose idea this was now. Yeah, like it's sad that you have to do that, but you have to protect your assets as if it's going to happen from the jump. Like, don't undersell yourself and think nobody's gonna want this. Like, I can do this and nobody's gonna care. Nah, I would go into everything. Facts.
Protect it first, and then go and have your way. If you don't protect it,
you dead out here. You dead out here.
You
especially if what you're doing is successful. If you have a great idea at that and you don't allow yourself or protect yourself, it's dead out here. Somebody's gonna come get it.
Oh yeah, dead.
Somebody's gonna come get it. Shout out to Latrell Sprewell.
What was the reality show you did just to?
After Happily Ever After, it was with BET. It was actually, we shot it 2022 July in Kentucky. It was fun, even though BET do not put marketing money behind their shows.
No,
the show is now going viral in Africa.
Wow,
Africa is in love with this show.
Wow, right, that's crazy.
So that I'm glad I was able to see that, is because one, I baby, edits are real. They will edit the shit out of it. I was like, wait a minute.
I didn't say none of that.
Right.
I was not at that scene right there.
They chopped out everything.
Yes, you get to see that. You get to know, like, a schedule is not a fucking schedule. Pay what pay. It was the most fun I had. And I got to learn, and I use that as a learning opportunity for what I'm doing, so that I can be better prepared, and I know how to lead my, people. And it's like, hey,
that's what you look
this
for.
is the goal. Stick to the script. Let's make this money and some good TV.
Facts.
Don't try and go off.
If you go off script, just come back. Right. Don't go all. You listen, because when you go all the way over there, I don't know.
I can't help you.
No, that's dope though. Much success to you on that. I know you said you were what you say predicting, but I'm gonna say it's gonna happen.
Right.
I'm gonna say it's gonna happen. I think as hard as work as you put in and everything else, I can tell you,
it's passionate.
As passionate as you are, as knowledgeable as you are about things like that. I think when you get a chance to let your hair down and let people see you for who you are, one, they know not to fuck with you because they've seen the other side of you already. So I've seen you with the suit coat on. Yeah. I don't want none of that. Yeah, I don't want none of that smoke.
I still show up.
You know what I'm saying? But no, that's dope, man. Definitely let people know. Is there somewhere they can find you if they're looking for your services or just in general?
So my personal Instagram is Lawyer Bay ESQ. Mm-hmm. My business Instagram is the BYOB firm, which is Build Your Own Business.
Big business.
And my YouTube channel is the Public Opinion Court, where we talk about all things news, from celebrity to criminal, business, anything that revolves around somebody having to give you their opinion, we're going to break it down for you.
Facts. And we're going to link y'all to all of this so you ain't got no excuse not to tap in.
Yes.
But definitely, support your people, man. I can't speak for other cultures and other races and things like that, but when you see your people doing positive things and trying to work for for you, this is a service that's out there for you. Like everything she does can assist you. It's not just about what she's trying to take from. So support your people, man. We are here for each other, and that's what it's about. So
already.
And here, my brother Bryson. Appreciate you. One episode in the books. You know what I'm saying? Tell people what the name of the podcast is, Bryson, please. I want you to do this. You do it on camera right now. Right now. What's the name of it? You can't even fucking say it without laughing. Say it. Go ahead.
I can.
Go ahead.
It's already not like they not like us. Already they not like us. So
and I wanted to say on camera that the name of this podcast was specifically created by Bryson Boom Paul. Your famous journalist, writer extraordinaire.
Y'all know who I went for in the battle. I don't give a fuck.
We definitely got to talk. Listen, what I want to do, we're gonna have to break that whole thing down. Because I just seen the Nokia video today, and I'm very intrigued. That's another conversation we have to have. But anyway, man, definitely appreciate you coming out. Anytime you want to come talk about some shit, I don't care what it is. You want to promote the show, whatever the case, let us know. We here for it.
Definitely got to bring it back and talk about the rest of this case. Obviously,
this is just starting.
Yeah,
man, it's
just starting.
But it's so many other cases. I would love to sit here and talk to you about. Oh my god,
that one right there.
The business lawsuits and stuff.
That big U case is pulling at my heartstrings. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is.
His bond hearing is April the 8th.
Yeah.
Listen.
Big useless.
We coming back around. Oh my god. Listen, it's crazy. I had somebody when I first started doing All Over Radio. The guy who used to do it with us he was from California, but from like the Valley, right? So he came in wanting to talk about what we used to talk about is like culture, different shit, but we used to bring up like community outreach programs and things like that. So he goes down a list of people in California that have these programs and shit like that, and he don't know where I'm from, and so he want me to talk about all these people and shit like that. I'm like, bro, I can't speak on none of them niggas positively or negatively. All I can just do is sit here and nod. You know what I'm saying? And Big U's was one of them, and I tried to tell him, I was like, bro,
know him.
I was like, that's more than just like for kids, right? That's not, but that's a different conversation. We'll get to that.
I know him. Like
definitely, man. Appreciate everybody for watching, tapping in. Make sure you click all the links that you see. It's your boy Kaution 700. We out of here.
He said, I know him. Man.